Hello folks, I hope you're doing good today. I hope you're liking my channel, and I appreciate all the support and all the wonderful comments I've been receiving and a lot of good questions. Today what we're going to do is cover this bit. I've had a lot of traffic directed to me asking about it, and that's kind of what I'm going to nip in the bud today. I want to do a shout out to Andrew McBride and France Valor. Their lead questions on this bit. Before I go into the bit, I would love to talk about a little bit of history, how I stumbled onto this bit. This goes back to the 14 Ranch down in Oklahoma. And if you know about the 14 Ranch, it's a famous ranch back in the day from a gentleman named Walter Merrick. Walter Merrick was a phenomenal horse breeder. He actually leased out 3 bars, which is, as you know, a foundation quarter horse, and bred them to make a great horse named EasyJet. Now, EasyJet took maturity back in the 1960s, early 1960s. He was also the director of the American Quarter Horse Association, and he had his thumbprints on a lot of other organizations. Just a phenomenal person in the racetrack industry, in the cowboy world, and so forth. And he's got such a good legacy that his son, Joe, is continuing to run with that legacy down there at the 14 Ranch. Joe, if you ever watch my videos at the end, I give credit to him because I'm using one of the songs called Horseman. So he's a heck of a singer. I don't listen to mainstream music anymore. I don't really care for it. If you do, I mean, that's your right. I just kind of like the older classic stuff, or rodeo music, red dirt music, and so forth. And one of my favorite artists is Joe Merrick, and this is the CD I was talking about. And obviously I'm not sponsored by him. I do know him very well. He's a very humble gentleman, but yeah, he's got a couple CDs out there that has great music, okay, and he's one heck of a good horseman, okay. And if you want to learn more about the 14 Ranch and Walter Merrick, used to be back in the 50s director of the American Quarter Horse Association. They have a book on him called Wire to Wire, and I highly recommend it. You'll learn a plethora of information about the horse industry, and especially if you're a historian, very good to read, okay. I really enjoyed it, and I actually probably need to read it again just for a second time. Getting back to this bit right here, what turned me on is the 14 Ranch is because when I went down there to visit Joe Merrick, he was, at that time, he was up on top of a thoroughbred horse, and he was halter breaking a couple other thoroughbred colts, and a couple of fillies, if I do recollect. And we got done riding, we shook hands and stuff, and I was looking at the bit that he was using in his horse's mouth, because as horse people, you know, we kind of learn from each other and learn what works and what doesn't work. And I kind of noticed this bit. I really liked what he was doing with it and how the horses react to it, you know, for up in collection and frame and so forth. And self-carriage, and so he took it off, he's putting his equipment away, and I said, "Is that a Sliester bit?" He goes, "Well, yes sir, it is." I said, "Well, how long you had it?" He goes, "Well, actually it was my dad Walter's." I said, "Oh really?" I said, "You mind if I take a look at it?" So I took a look at everything, and it was a Sliester bit. And so it had a lot of weight to it, which I really liked. And so I went back after visiting him, and went back home and kind of went to Mr. Google and looked it up, and looked up the Sliester company and a little bit more in depth, and realized and found out they were a family-owned business that unfortunately went out of business. Okay, so you can't really find the bit much anymore. You have to go on eBay or go on Facebook and look at cowboy trade bag sites or auction sites and so forth to be able to get the bit. And that's the unfortunate part of it. But that's how I got turned on to it originally. And then in the military, back in the day when I was serving in the Army, we were always taught to never use single source information. And lo and behold, I got a hold of a clinician named Pat Puckett, and a lot of you probably seen his channel and so forth. And he was talking about this bit. So now I got 2 really good horse people and horsemen that are talking about this bit. So I'm like, Travis, I need to check this out. So I went and tracked one down on auction, and actually won out on a bid, and actually was able to purchase one. And then later on I went to a trade bag site, purchased another one. And that's how I got a hold of a couple of my Sliester bits. All right, so without any further ado, I'm going to talk about the bit real quick, okay? What I like about it. And I can see what those other horsemen liked about it. So the first thing off the bat that I can tell you about on this bit, and this is a Western bit, is I really like up on the purchase, which is right here at the mouthpiece, straight up, that's called the purchase. And if you look at it, you'll see that it is actually angled at a degree, okay, both sides. And what that's for is if you got the headstall coming down, latching on, you still have room for an under bridle to come and slip in there, okay, or a pencil buzzolito, okay. You can see it goes in there nice and neat, and there's no rubbing on it when you're wearing it, okay, with this on the horse. So that's one thing I like. The second thing I really like is this high port right here. This port actually has sweet iron inside, okay, to build saliva in the horse's mouth and keep it nice and moist so it's not drying it out. Same thing with this cricket, because the rest of this metal is all surgical steel, so it won't rust. It'll keep a beautiful looking shape the rest of its life. The cricket I really like is when the horse is done moving and they're relaxing, it gives them something to play with, which means if they're playing with this, it means their jaw's loosened up. They're not going to be tight jawed, okay? Now, when the horse is ready to do some work, I expect, because of the way of this horse, for them to pick the bit up and hold it, okay? I don't want to be dangling and bumping the horse's mouth, okay? I want them to learn to hang on to it. And then once they're stopped, they're relaxed, and then they can let it hang off the headstall. And if they want, they can just play with the cricket, okay? Keeping that nice loose jaw I was talking about. The hard port here, most of the time if you do it right, it's not going to hit the roof of the mouth, okay? And if you look at this bit, it is pretty much a straight mouthpiece right there. And I really like that, because the horse defensively, even though they can learn to pack it, they're not going to wad up their tongue to protect themselves, so that it's this part is not resting on the bars of their mouth, okay? And that's what I like about a straight bar, because it sits there flush right on, okay? Even if it's 4 fingers in the length of a tongue or the width of a tongue, it sits there nice and neat off the bar, so it's not irritating the horse's mouth. So I really like that straight bar on it. Now, most horses are 5 1/4 from this point to this point. The older bits like this are normally 5 inches to 5 1/8. And this one here is 5 1/8, okay, from here to here. All right, so that's one thing to keep in mind. It is a solid bit, well made. Sliester is a good company. If you look, you got the purchase, and then you got the shank comes down, and it's kind of angled back here. I really like that because I got, even though it's a leverage bit, you can still do a little bit of signal. The further it goes back, the less leverage you have. So this one's kind of right there on the point where you're getting in not so much extreme leverage, but enough to get the job done, but signal first, okay? So this whole thing together is called a cheek piece, and I do believe it is possibly about 8 inches from top to bottom. And if you look in there, and it is, yep, 8 inches, okay? So from here to here is 8 inches. One of the nice things I like about it, because it's all down here, is you got a slobber bar, okay? That keeps everything nice and neat when you're riding one-handed, so it's not really sloppy, okay, when you're riding one-handed. Because some point in time, you're going to have to transfer from a snaffle bit, 2 hands, up into a one-handed operation if you are trying to rope, or you're trying to do something else. You want to be able to transition into a one-handed outfit, and that's what this is. Another nice feature is you got these rings back here. What these rings are nice is that you can attach rein chains to it, or you can simply put leather through here like split reins and tie onto it, so it's very versatile. It's a beautiful bit. It's nice weight, and what I like about it is the balance of it, okay? So if I got the horse's tongue here and they're packing it and they're holding it, they can feel me bring it back, and when I release, okay, they're getting a reward off their lease. And I really like that because it's a fast balancing point for them, okay? You can just see the release on it. So that's one of the big reasons I really like this bit, especially from riding one-handed. Beautiful put together bit. And this is basically what I use, one of the bits I use. And especially for a horse that'll probably never be a bridle horse, okay? My horse Bella, she's a wonderful stock horse. She's a great cow horse, but she'll never be a bridle horse. I got her a little late in life, and I'd rather have a new one to be able to get up to a bridle horse. And not every horse out there is going to be a bridle horse, but you can still make a darn good cow horse and use a Western bit like this, okay? So I hope that helps you out, folks. I hope that answers the question for Andrew and Franz Valor, what this bit is and how to get it. And I hope that helps you all out, folks. And if you like my channel, please hit subscribe and then hit like on the information. And in the future, I'll show you more bits of what I use. And if you got questions, I'll do my best to answer them. Because education is very important. So I want you to be safe, I want your horse to be safe, and most importantly, enjoy your job or just have fun whatever you're doing. So happy trails, take care, adios.